Karen insults my wedding ring to my face. X post from our entitled people. Just earned enough karma to move posts to this sub. This happened to me some years ago. It's my favorite example of entitlement. I am typing the story on my phone, so please forgive the bad grammar. Backstory: when I first met the man who became my husband, we were not well off. He moved across the country to come live with me and had not a penny to his name. He proposed to me without a ring, which I was perfectly okay with. It was incredibly romantic. He popped the question spontaneously and is still one of the happiest days of my life. He promised when he was better off financially, he would buy any ring that I wanted. A while after our engagement, the day came where he surprised me by taking me to a jewelry store. He had saved a $5,000 budget, plus a little wiggle room for some credit if needed. He told me to go nuts. It was so fun and romantic. I tried on dozens of rings, diamonds, platinum bands, lesser gemstones. Then I saw a set of steel titanium rings. They were originally designed for the grooms, not for the brides. But I had never been a big diamond fan and I preferred simple flat rings to mounted stones. I ended up falling in love with a super simple black titanium ring with angled grooves. It was gorgeous. It was exactly what I wanted, and best of all, they were cheap, less than $200. Husband liked them too so much that we got him a matching band. We decided to use them as both the engagement ring and the actual wedding ring. We had to special order them, as the jewelry store didn't stock our sizes on hand. I got a surprise when they arrived to find that husband had requested engraving on the inside of mine. It said, "My precious, I am a huge LOTR fan. I love that ring to death. I wear it to this day, and it still makes me smile." The story: this took place 7 years after I got married. I worked at a chain sandwich shop where we assemble the sandwiches in front of the customer. My store was next to a yoga studio, CrossFit training, and plastic surgeon's office, so we got our fair share of Karens and holier-than-thou rich people. It wasn't uncommon for somebody to drive up in a 100k sports car, toting a Prada bag and sunglasses that cost more than my rent. They almost always came in to order the most picky, complicated subs, then complained about the price. We were quite used to these kind of people, but this lady took the cake. Enter the entitled Karen and her bratty teenage daughter. They looked the part to a T. He proceeded to order the usual complicated, picky subs, asking tons of questions about the nutritional info of every item, to assembling the food. We wear clear plastic food service gloves. Because my ring is flush to my hand and won't rip the gloves, I had approval from the manager to wear it at work. While assembling this woman's sandwich, her teenage daughter notices my ring. Entitled daughter: "Oh, that's cute. Is that a promise ring?" Me: "No, that's my wedding ring." Karen scoffing loudly: "Are you serious?" Me: "Yes, it's both my engagement and wedding ring. It has been for several years." Karen looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You have a cheap husband." I balked at her comment but tried to remain professional. "That may be your opinion, mom, but I happen to like this ring. I picked it out myself." Karen: "Then you have terrible taste in jewelry." She then turned to her daughter: "If your father had given me a ring that ugly, I would have left him on the spot. Make sure your future husband gets you a ring that at least has diamonds in it." I was floored. I get tons of compliments about my ring. I never expected someone to insult it, let alone straight to my face. I was so flabbergasted I couldn't even continue working on her food. I excused myself and went into the back and told my co-worker to finish them up for me. I couldn't even stand to be around them. When I told my manager the whole story, he almost didn't believe me. We had to watch the security footage to prove it had actually happened. Never saw that entitled woman again. Glad she didn't come back. I still shake with rage every time I recount the story. I still have that ring on my hand today, and it's still the most beautiful, wonderful ring I could ever hope for. I love my husband very much. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me, and that's matter far more than any jewelry. Edit: lots of people asking for pictures of my ring. Edit 2: oh my goodness, I'm overwhelmed by all the loving and supportive comments. Too many for me to respond to all. Thank you for all the comments on my ring. I am glad to hear I am not the only person who doesn't prefer diamond rings. Some of the descriptions of fellow Redditors rings sound so beautiful and fun. I also love all the wonderful stories about why your rings are so special to each of you. Bless you, Reddit community. My husband has a very similar wedding ring, and he gets compliments about it. Who gives a flying F**k what they cost? I bet you love your ring more than she loves hers. It would have been very hard not to talk at her, and I do mean at her. You have a happiness she never will. At least OP's ring has sentimental value to it. A fun memory pops up whenever they look at it. This bitch probably married her husband for the, and since the ring had diamonds on it, duck entitled ass rich dicks. I think people in service jobs should be allowed to pepper spray severely rude people. We need a day like the purge where customer service people can say whatever they want to customers with no fear of repercussions. I think that employees should be able to kick anybody out if they are being disrespectful. She collects engagement rings like Thanos. Soon her infinity gauntlet will be complete, and when she'll snap, everyone will be married to her. My wedding ring was also my engagement ring. It is rose and white gold with a large, square smoky quartz. My husband's ring is tungsten and was a freebie with mine, which was on a 30% off. It was under $500 for both. This post and your comment make me feel a little less crazy. I also used my engagement ring as my wedding ring. Both my family and my husband's acted like I was insane when I told them I neither needed nor wanted a second ring. They said I had to get one for reasons, and that they're sure I'll change my mind someday. Now we're married and they still think my husband should buy me one for some anniversary. Luckily, my husband doesn't care either way. He told me he's up for buying one if I ever want one, and I told him I'll wear one if he, not our families, really wants me to, but he also doesn't feel like I need a second ring to qualify as his wife. He just wants me to be happy. My mother complained to everyone but me. She was adamant that I should not wear it till I was married. Fun fact, ours was a legal hand fasting. The actual symbol of our union is a knotted cord in a shadow box. I just had people point that out to her. Wedding rings clearly cause a lot of emotions. When my husband proposed to me, I was a bit, you could say, disappointed with the ring. It was white gold and had diamonds in it. I didn't even know what kind of ring I wanted, but that wasn't it. Luckily, I soon understood that this was the ring he wanted to give to me, that this was his vision of me as a ring. I've grown to love it. Sadly, I also came to know soon after that I'm allergic to white gold, just like my mother is. She just never told me. Now I wear it to events but not daily. The price of the rings doesn't equal for the love of the giver aside, but if this bothers you, might be able to get the inside of the ring lined in a metal you're not allergic to. My father is a goldsmith. He suggested the same thing. I can't wear a ring at work, so it doesn't bother me that much. My husband is also ok with me not wearing it. He also hates wearing a ring, so he tattooed his ring a few years back. I am thinking of doing this. I have tried, but I just can't wear jewelry due to sensory processing issues. My husband had to go redo some parts of it cause fingers are a bit tricky to tattoo. Harder for it to heal so the ink stays. He has been very happy with it though. And your husband has terrible taste in partners. Imagine if he knew you cared more about a little ring than him. Awful. Here's your sub. Have a nice day. She didn't say it was Subway. Shush. Yo OP, if I was there you can bet her wedded behind I can spray major insults on her to defend your honor and make that bitch apologize. Insults don't help. You got to talk facts to Karens because Karens can insult but they can't handle facts. I know that. That's why I say insults, because in Karen's ears everything that we people say to them is insults. I worked for years as a florist. When I chose a ring it was a lot like yours, only white gold and yellow gold instead of the black. I had someone comment not long after our wedding that he must be a big spender in a snarky, aholish way. I just stared at him for a few seconds and said I picked it for me, not you. Mic drop. He shut up. Have my free award. This is an awesome answer. Well done. Wow, thank you. Had a neighbor who told her daughter that all she would ever be was a hole for sex and a face, so she had better get a wealthy husband. Sounds like Mom of the Year there has similar ideals, i.e. marry for wealth. That is so sad. I wanna hug that daughter. I literally read the story and how adorably cheesy the engraving was makes me want to do something like that for my future wife. That lady sure does sound like she's lacking a lot of love in her life. You on the other hand OP sound like you have a happy, healthy, loving marriage. That lady just couldn't fathom such a full life. How sad and pathetic for her. There's rich and there's wealthy. They are not the same thing at all. I think it's lovely. It's also personable as well. Not everyone needs something flashy, plus real diamonds are expensive. The fact he paid extra to have something engraved on it is the best gesture. It's beautiful and means more than the most expensive thing in the world to you. Oh, and congrats to almost a decade. Not only expensive, but expensive and stupid. Diamonds aren't even rare. The supply is just artificially controlled primarily by a single company to keep the price up, combined with ridiculous marketing to separate chumps from their money. good choice. Dropping thousands of dollars on a ring is dumb whether you can afford it or not. And using credit on a ring you can't afford is absolutely ridiculous. That lady and her daughter are pretentious morons. Titanium crew unite. I got a titanium ring with a silver band in the middle as an engagement ring and swapped it for one with a gold band for the wedding. Wife has a titanium ring with blue turquoise diamonds in it which she liked. We picked our own rings. I think titanium is kinda romantic in that it's not super fancy, but it's tough and bends rather than breaks, which is what I want in a relationship. And the gold and diamonds are held and protected by it, something precious in the middle of it all. I honestly don't understand why people feel the need to crap on others for the choices they make for their own lives. How does your ring impact our life in any way? It costs nothing to be kind, and if they can't manage not to be judgmental AHs then they should keep that poison to themselves. For the record, your explanation of why your ring makes you happy made me so teary. Lovely. Her husband has terrible taste in women. So are surprised that someone that defines their happiness on money doesn't see the value in your ring. Don't let it get to you. What she told her daughter is a reflection of the person she has chosen to be. Her saying what she did about her own husband is a reflection of what her marriage is built on. Not love. Definitely not love. If I ever wed again my ring would be a simple band. Something delicate. Rose gold and definitely no diamond. I think what you have chosen is perfect for you and her husband. And it sounds like you are richer than she will ever be. People that define wealth with the things money can buy are the true peasants of the world. I have a very similar story. My husband and I got married young and are transparent with gifts for each other. We both selected ring type style we liked and made a list of preferences. Then left it up to the other to make the final decision. On my list of ring preferences, I said I only wanted one ring and it had to be less than 300. He commissioned a twisted wire ring with a raw emerald in it. It is perfect. I got him a silver ring with an Irish knot design. We both absolutely love our rings because they're what we wanted. I have definitely gotten comments about how it's not a real wedding ring or wow, you think he'd spend more money on the person he loves. Whatever. People who make those comments clearly don't understand who we are and what is important to us. From the photo, your ring is very lovely. I choose simple jewelry too. I usually go for sterling silver when I pick out jewelry. It has to be silver because anything else turns my skin a different color. I've never really liked gold or diamonds. The color silver is cool and refreshing, like swimming in a nice cool pool on a hot day whilst on holiday. I don't know anything about fashion but oh boy isn't that ring beautiful. If Karen makes her daughter make her boyfriend buy her the most expensive ring, she is mentally insane. My wife I spent a similar amount on our wedding rings 23 years ago. The ring itself is just a symbol. It's the love and friendship that it represents that matters. When you are starting of life together I think paying too much for a ring is just plain silly. Put that money towards a house or even a holiday. I am thinking wedding swords, maybe wedding tats. I lose jewelry. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing for more videos.